So a lot of talk has been going around the Las Vegas Raiders right now, and specifically what they're planning to do after potentially the firing of Antonio Pierce and company. I'm not going to lie to you. This has been rough. This has been beyond rough. And I think that to a degree, us Raiders fans deserve better, not only from what we've seen from a team perspective, but just from a leadership perspective. So be that as it may, whatever happens with Antonio Pierce, fine. Prayers up for everybody involved, and sending out nothing but loving vibes. However, there is going to be some moves in the offseason that is probably going to shake this franchise. One of those moves potentially being, should the Las Vegas Raiders trade MAXX CROSBY? Now, I understand that there are a lot of people that really like where the Raiders are headed, and I think that there's some pieces here with the Raiders. You talk about, you got Brock Bowers, who's one of the young and upcoming stars in the league. You've got MAXX CROSBY. You've got Christian Wilkins along that defensive line. Malcolm Kuntz should be coming back to the Raiders. I think that he definitely would be wise to. You got guys like Robert Spillane and Trayvon Morgan in the back end. So there's pieces. And not to mention an offensive line that's not horrible, can definitely get better, but there's some things to build upon here, right? However, there are more holes in this team than there are pieces to build around. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. And I think that it would behoove the Raiders to consider all of their options, especially when it comes to trading MAXX CROSBY, where you could probably get some pretty good draft capital for him. Yes, you own the number 1 overall pick right now, but you want to talk about getting a good head start on next season? How about getting more draft capital and helping yourself out? On the flip side of that, I love MAXX CROSBY. I have from day one, because he came in and he was a no-nonsense lunch pail player that came in and essentially became arguably the best defensive end in the game. And I know it would suck, but at the end of the day, again, you have more holes than you have pieces to build around right now. And I think the Raiders, especially having the number 1 overall pick, I think that a change in leadership is inevitable. I think that Aiden O'Connell, as much as we've loved him, I think that potentially the Raiders are probably going to go with Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward at number 1 if they don't trade out of the top 10 or top 5 rather. And so I think all options have to be on the table right now for the Raiders. You have to be able to look at this and say to yourself, okay, is trading a guy like MAXX CROSBY a smart move? I think potentially if you get the right compensation, it could be. You have to be able to look at all of your options and, what could happen if you trade MAXX CROSBY? Could you get a first for him? I think so. I think there are a lot of teams out there, that would potentially trade for a guy like MAXX CROSBY to help shore up their defensive line. Maybe the Detroit Lions, maybe a team like the Panthers who need a lot of defensive help. Who knows at this point? But overall, I think that there's a lot to consider, especially this offseason, and there's going to be a lot of questions surrounding the Raiders this offseason as well. And so, but overall, I think it's something to consider as far as trading MAXX CROSBY. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.